get over that side. Got one of them. All right, come across, come across. Go, go, go. What's up, guys? We're back here in CQB City in Stockton, California at 60,000 square feet of Airsoft indoor play. And today we're going to test and review the Bolt B4A1 carbine.
Bolt Airsoft from Taiwan uses the BRSS, or otherwise Bolt Recoil Shock System. The BRSS utilizes the kinetic energy produced by the piston and switches to the counterweight inside the stock tube, creating that simulated recoil. These AEGs are equipped with full metal bodies, metal rail systems, outer barrels and accessories, and of course polymer or plastic furniture, either tan or black. This model, like the production model, sports a rear cut-down sight. And unlike the production model, this one has a quick detached front sight. This prototype sports flat dark earth pistol grip and crane stock. The finish of the metal body is quite nice. It has a slight sheen to it for that somewhat realistic look. And of course it sports the Bolt logo and markings that are laser engraved on the side of the receiver along with the serial number. But it does not match the rail system, which is not too bad. The selector is very responsive and gives about positive feedback when clicking from safe, semi, and full auto. The hop adjustment is located right behind the fake bolt and dust cover, so when you pull back the charging handle, you'll have to hold it back to adjust the hop up. And just in front of the hop up adjustment wheel, you'll notice it's clearly marked on the hop up unit which way gives more hop up. Installing the battery on the Bolt AEG is pretty simple. Simply remove the butt pad and this will allow access to the chamber in the back of the crane stock. Now you're unable to install any buffer tube type batteries in the buffer tube itself because that's where the recoil shock system is. Instead, you'll need to use a crane style battery or a butterfly type battery. The standard iron sights are A2 style and create a nice crisp sight picture. With all these great features, including the electric blowback system, we give this gun a 4 out of 5 overall for realism. Now it's time to take a closer look at the internals of the Bolt BRSS AEG. We had our Master Tech Jeremy, or known as Shrek, take apart this gun so we can see exactly how it's built. In our first stop, we take a closer look at the hop-up unit and inner barrel. The barrel is all black, with a nice matte coated finish, along with a laser etched Bolt logo and the 6mm marking. And here we can clearly see the adjustment wheel and the arrow indicating how and which way to adjust for more hop-up on the hop-up unit itself. And here you can clearly see the hop-up wheel in conjunction with the hop-up unit and bucking, creating the hop-up with inside the barrel. As you can see, the fake bolt and charging handle are very similar to the Tokimori style electric shock system. Each Bolt AEG is equipped with the Elite high torque motor. One unique feature this Bolt AEG had was a metal plate, almost a support plate inside the pistol grip to prevent any cracks or breakages. And as you can see, the rear wiring is underneath the buffer tube, much like the Tokyo Marui style. This allows for the recoil shock system, or the BRSS in this case, to move freely within the buffer tube without being exposed to any wires. And just inside the guide rail, you can see small silver screws, and you have to remove these in order to free the wiring under the buffer tube. Again, very similar to the Tokyo Marui style, you can see a small metal plate that protects the wiring just at the very end of the buffer tube. At this point, you got to be very careful, especially removing the castle nut in order not to split or splice any wiring. And in order to remove the wiring and get the gearbox out, we had to remove the actual battery plug to get the wiring through the castle nut and the rear plate of the AEG. We thought these were small clips underneath the shrink tubing, so we removed the shrink tubing to find out that they're actually crimped together. So in the future, don't cut the shrink tubing off. Lesson learned. Here you can see it's part of the BRSS system, so the recoil shock system, that actually goes into the buffer tube, much like a real AR-15. Again, the kinetic energy delivered from the piston actually goes into the buffer tube, and this mechanism causes the actual felt recoil. This rod actually interacts with the piston in the gearbox and thus pushes against the mechanism inside the buffer tube, causing the simulated recoil. Inside the main rod there's actually a spring, so the inner rod can bounce freely inside, as you can see in the video. Once the gearbox was cracked open, we noticed the gears were very similar to the Tokyo Marui recoil shock system. They aren't exact, so you can't swap one for one in this gearbox. Inside you can see the spring and spring guide, and of course the cylinder head and tappet plate. The piston is quite unique. It has a lot of holes cut into it, I'm assuming to make it lighter, so when it delivers a kinetic energy back towards the recoil system, it can actually fire at a decent rate of fire. As you can see, it has full teeth gears on the piston itself as well. And that small piece that fell out of the piston is actually used to engage with that little rod that pushes back against the buffer tube recoil system. This also sports an anodized aluminum piston head. As you can see, it's nice green colored. Overall, the piston head and everything looks very sharp. Standard brass cylinder with an aluminum cylinder head. Looks like a polycarbonate plastic tappet plate and nozzle. So we checked the compression on the piston and cylinder, and it was very tight, as you can see, with no leaks or any problems. From the exterior to the interior of the gearbox and its AEG, we found out that Bolt BRSS is actually a very well built gun, so we gave it a 5 out of 5 on quality.
All right, guys, let's go see how it does.
And once again, we find ourselves back at CQB City in Stockton, California. It's one of the largest indoor airsoft arenas in Northern California at 60,000 square feet. Now, since CQB City is a semi-auto only field at 400 feet per second, we were unable to really fully test the recoil shock system on full auto. But on semi-auto, you definitely felt it. You can actually see the gun moving quite a bit as I'm shooting at opponents. The layout of this field is quite diverse. You have a lot of open areas for long-range shooting, as well inside the kill house and around the buildings for up-close and personal CQB action. The one thing I did notice with this gun on semi-auto is that you have to make sure you pull the trigger back completely and all the way before you pull again. So firing rapid-fire on semi-auto sometimes was a challenge, but once I got the hang of it, it was no problem at all. The one thing I did notice about long-range shooting was sometimes the BBs would kind of curve off pattern here and there. Nothing too alarming, but then again, you want something that's very accurate, especially when you're firing on semi-auto. All in all, the gun performed quite well here at CQB City, so we rated a 4 out of 5 for performance. And at a sticker price of almost $400, we rated a 3 out of 5 for value. Okay, it's time to take a look at our overall results of the Bolt BR4A1 carbine. We gave it a 4 out of 5 for realism, a 5 out of 5 on quality, a 4 out of 5 on performance, and a 3 out of 5 on value for an overall 4 out of 5. The Bolt BRSS AEGs are now available at Airsoft Extreme, so call, click, or stop on by. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe.